But the thing is, though, we always kind of show these outlooks. You know, we have this big yellow outlook. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. The thing is, though, as we go out through the rest of this week, this is going to be our severe weather preparedness week. So we're going to talk all things severe weather and the hazards that we typically get here into West Texas. And the thing is, though, the one thing that kind of start off with that is talking about those outlooks. Where does it come from? It comes from the Storm Prediction Center. It is a branch of NOAA from the National Weather Service. And the main things that they do, they are responsible for forecasting for severe weather and other hazardous weather conditions. So as in fire weather and winter storm conditions. And this is the outlooks that they typically put out. If we are familiar with the date, May 30th, 2024, this is when we had the tornado that kind of came through Midland down into near the Pleasant Farms region. And the thing is, though, we were under a level 2 out of 5 slight risk into the Midland-Odessa region, but well into the Big Country and Contra Valley, we were under a level 3 out of 5 risk. And typically, we see all these colors, and you're probably wondering, okay, what do these colors exactly mean? Let's go ahead and break it down. When we talk about a level 1 risk, that is a marginal risk. This is when we talk about potential kind of like isolated severe thunderstorms, kind of like popcorn showers. Not everyone is going to see a severe thunderstorm under this risk, but typically within this risk, though, it is predominantly most of the time kind of a hail and wind threat, but it could be associated with a little bit of a low-end tornado threat. But the thing is, though, it is pretty limited in duration and it doesn't really last too long. But the thing is, though, once we get to a level 2 risk, this is when it's kind of a little bit of an uptick of that potential severe weather, and we could potentially see 1 to 2 isolated tornadoes gusting nearly up to 60 miles an hour and hail up to 2 inches in diameter. And the thing is, again, pretty much within these risks, we could still be predominantly into that hail and wind threat. But once we start getting that tornado risk into where that's when it is still pretty much a low risk. But once we get into that enhanced risk, this is when we start to see a little bit more of those hazards potentially at play, which is pretty much the highest that we typically get around this area. Potentially be able to see numerous severe thunderstorms, potentially a few tornadoes that could be up to EF2 status, and those damaging winds and large hail associated with it. And the thing is, we know in West Texas, we definitely get those baseball size hail, and get into more of those rare categories into a moderate and a high risk. Between into that moderate risk, this is when we could potentially see a little bit more of those widespread severe thunderstorms. And when we get into that high risk, this is when unfortunately we could start seeing more of those storms in kind of more of an outbreak type of fashion and to get more of those stronger tornadoes. But we typically don't get too much of those higher risks. But the thing is, though, with all forms of severe weather, it's good to stay on edge and keeping up with the forecast as we head in throughout our severe weather preparedness week. So stay tuned with us on that.